personally just the same as the team. There's nothing adversely in terms of you look at the performance on Wednesday night. Disappointing to lose a last goal. We never done near enough to actually win the game, but I felt our defensive shape and our discipline was really good in terms of for 90% of the game to try and get something from the game. But there's not really anything else. So a wee bit of adversity in terms of disappointed to lose a goal so late on in a game. But that's really all it is now. It's just about preparing for Dundee. Not really, because if you look at the difference between second bottom and fifth, is it one game, 3 points? So I think it needs to be put into perspective. But I don't really get caught up in all this, if I'm honest. Like, I've been at Livingston 10 years and I've been in a relegation battle for 8 of them. And people can laugh at that, but that's the harsh reality of it. I think for the first year, the only 1 year I can hand in heart probably say we weren't relegation was the League One days. Even the first 2 years in the Scottish Champ, all we were trying to do was stay in the Scottish Champ. So and it was a relegation battle. The first year I think we stayed in with the skin of our teeth, the first year, and the second year we got relegated. And then you go into League One. We managed to win League One, then went back in the Champ, and everybody's saying just stay in the Champ, and we got promoted to the Premier League. And then this is the 6th season in the Premier League, and every year's a relegation battle. So I think people need to be pragmatic in terms of just because of previous success and you've overachieved previously doesn't mean that that's just a natural and that you've got a divine right for that to happen every year. I do believe it's a tight league this year, and I think the league standings after the first third, really, I'd break it down into 33 games, and then you look at the last 5 when you're there. But you look at the first third, there's 3 points between 5th and 11th, 6 points between maybe 11th and 4th, and 6 points between 5th and 12th. So I think if there's a team that can go and show a wee bit of consistency, go and pick 2 or 3 wins up in the bounce, it just changes the whole outcome in the league table. So it's just about everybody staying in touch and distance with everybody else, try to find a wee bit of consistency. But that's the hardest thing to do in the Premier League, is find a bit of consistency, especially when there's probably 8 teams all roughly in and around more than capable of taking points off one another on any given match day. Shamal was injured.
Was he?
Aye, come on. You must have knew that.
I didn't know.
No, Shamal. No, I never told you on Monday, but I spoke about it during the game and I spoke about it after the game. Shamal went over in his ankle. The Dundee game, was it? He went down in the first 5 minutes, wasn't it?
Right.
And he was actually down in open play, and I'm shouting, "Get up!" It wasn't a head knock. So anyway, the physios went on and we managed to keep him on the park. He played through it, but the next day it was balloon. So Shamal never trained any training days up to the Wednesday's game. He was probably, ideally, if I had a number 3, Shamal wouldn't be sitting on the bench. But again, let's say Jack went in and Jack took a knock and had to come off the park, Shamal would needed to have went on the park for us, but he was 70% at best. So there wasn't anything other in it than Shamal had the injury. The ankle still a wee bit of play in the ankle, but by not playing him on Wednesday makes him probably more available for Sunday's game, gives him a chance to recover for that. But I think Jack done his prospects no harm at all. I thought he was outstanding, and it's probably, again, it's shown Shamal that there's genuine competition in the building, because I genuinely thought Jack had a very good game. So for me now, Jack's not really had the opportunity to go in and push Shamal. He got an opportunity through default, not through Shamal's form, but he's done himself no harm at all. No, Big Curtis is back in the squad. He'd phoned in sick on Wednesday, so he missed Wednesday, Thursday through sickness and diarrhoea. So he's back in the squad. Michael Nottingham's trained yesterday, going to train today. I think we're going to have to be careful with that one and dip him in and out of training. He's got the hunger between his teeth, and he sometimes comes back in and wants to do the full session at 100% capacity, and that's shown that he's got to probably adapt, especially with his age. Got to probably look at his training loads, can't treat him like everyone else. So I'll probably today is dip him in and out the session. So Michael Nottingham's back available for the matchday squad. I'm trying to think. Christian Montano still out, obviously through suspension, but that's it. There's nothing else to report. Shamal, probably assess that one tomorrow morning, see how Shamal trains today, see if there's any reaction from his training today. Trained yesterday, there's not been a reaction today, so we'll see what his reaction is tomorrow from today's session. Then I've got a decision to make at that point. So the one aspect from that game, we went into that game knowing that Dundee's last 4 goals came from set plays, so we've done a bit of work on it. So to concede 2 goals from set plays was extremely disappointing. So for that aspect, I want to carry more of a threat in the final third. But for that to happen and for you to get a foothold in the game, you've got to defend your box better. So really, that's the 2 key points. Do we want to bring more of an attacking threat? Of course we do. But you can only do that when you try and get a foothold in the game and you defend your area better than what we did. And we never done that well enough in the second game. But I will caveat that with, we were down to 10 men at that point. So there is extenuating circumstances, albeit we have got to defend our 18-yard box better. Yeah, I think when you're looking at the dual ownership, it's probably club to club in the same association. It can't really happen. But if you're looking at the English FA to the Scottish FA, I don't see why it can happen. I think we've got to evolve as an association, as clubs. We've got to evolve also. And I think that multi-club ownership, I've been very vocal about it. I think, for talk's sake, Livingston is a very good club for that model. You look at all Brighton, Union, there's a real successful model there if implemented properly. So I think it can only enhance depending on the partnerships and who the partnerships are and the people within those partnerships. But I think it can only enhance the product on the park. If you've got ownerships, let's just use England as the kind of focal point there. If you're using England and you're using Bournemouth, and that could potentially open up investment for Hibs. And again, does that improve the product on the park? I think you've got to say it is. Finances recruit better players. It's simple. Football's not really that complicated at times. When you look across probably what the successful teams in European football, it generally falls back to the teams with the biggest budgets. Now I know that can be misspent, but it generally falls back to the teams with the biggest budgets. So the more investment you can attract into your club, into Scottish football, I think it's going to help the product on the park.